What's up, everybody? Happy Wednesday. It's hump day, and we're glad that you guys are here. We got a little new graphics going on here. I've been watching some of y'all's live streams. I was like, man, we got to up our graphics game. So we got a few new graphics here. So thank you guys for hanging out with us. And this week's topic is Meet EVS. We've got a bunch of new followers, which is awesome. And we appreciate you guys for following us. Those of you who've been following us for years, thank you for being our longtime friends. But we got a lot of new folks too who maybe don't know what's going on here at EVS. So we thought we'd sort of do a meet the crew type thing. And even if you've been friends of ours for a long time, there might be some stuff that you didn't know that you're about to find out. So. Very cool. I've only been working here a couple years. Gosh, I guess 4 years now. But EVS has been around a long time, and I was a customer here before I started working. And I was just telling somebody a story the other day that I didn't know anything about all these. I knew about these ones. I knew about the Vipers, but I didn't know about anything else. And one of my first jobs when I got here was to go around and play all these different instruments, which, you know, gee, what a tough assignment. But yeah, my job was to go around and play all these instruments, and I was blown away by how good they all sounded. I'd sort of been in this, I'd heard some of the little cheap Cecilios and stuff, and had been aware that there were some pretty bad sounding electric violins out there, and I knew mine wasn't. And so I was like, well, you know, I guess the Viper sounds good, and everything else, I don't know. But I started playing all these different instruments, and they're all different. Which is why guitar players tend to have a wall full of guitars, is because each one's different. We get the question all the time, well, which violin's the best violin? It's like asking what the best car is. I don't know. It depends on what you want to do with it. If you're going to be hauling gravel, a Honda Accord is probably not what you're looking for. But if you're going to drive this thing 300,000 miles and you don't want to spend a lot of money on maintenance, maybe the Honda Accord is what you're looking for. If you've got a family of 12, you know, probably the Corvette's not going to be what you want to do. But if you like to go real fast and you don't ever need to take anything with you, Corvettes are a lot of fun. So what is the best instrument? It's entirely dependent on what you're going to do with it. So that's one of the cool things about working here is you learn like all the sort of ins and outs of each instrument, which is why when you guys call us and you say, hey, I don't really know much about electric violins, but I'd like to buy one, we can help you find the one that's going to be perfect for you. So all that to be said, what's up, Mom? My mom's here. Hey, Mom. Everybody say hi, Mom. And what's happening, Justin? So, yeah, Mom's watching all that money she spent on violin lessons go right down the drain. I'm playing rock and roll, so... She paid a lot of money for me to learn how to play Mozart, and I squandered it all on Jimi Hendrix. So yeah, let's get into this a little bit. We are an employee-owned co-op. The business was actually formed in 1998 by Blaze Keeler. You guys may know him. He started Music Explorium and started selling all kinds of like oddball instruments. You know, and any of the stuff that you wouldn't find at Mitar Schmenter. I'm not saying that name. But all the stuff you wouldn't find there, you could buy at Music Explorium. And of course, since he's got all these weirdo instruments, he had a weirdo electric violin, and holy crap, those things started selling, basically spun into its own business. Blaze wanted to retire and spend some time with his grandkids, so he sold the shop to the employees in 2016. So the inmates are truly running the asylum. I do have a lot of people assume that because I'm always on these videos that I own the electric violin shop. I do not own the electric violin shop. They picked me to be the face, probably because they've got vision problems. But yeah, if you were going to pick a face to be the face of your business, I'm not sure why it was this one. But yeah, we have a lot of fun around here. So there are 4 full-time employees, and you'll get to meet them in just a second, and they own and run this operation. And then we got a couple of part-timers. Shauna and myself are both touring pros that are here when we can be. So yeah, has been an employee-owned co-op since 2016. We are the only shop in North America that deals only in electric strings. We don't do any acoustic instruments besides like acoustic electrics. We do sell pickups that you can put on your acoustic instrument, but basically if you can't plug it in, yeah, we don't care about it. We carry instruments from over 20 different manufacturers from around the world: the UK, the US, the EU, Australia, Brazil, India, China. Might even have one we used to carry from Canada. We might have one of those in here floating around somewhere. But from all over the world. So it's truly an international business. We have customers on every continent. We did, in fact, sell a violin to someone in Antarctica. It turns out that if you are a research scientist in Antarctica, they've got a very tight living spaces, and you do not want to be annoying the people who live right next to you with a loud violin. And, you know, it's cold. So, yeah, electrics are going to be better suited for that for a number of reasons. So, yes, we have sold violins on every continent. We ship to over 90 countries. We supply major artists. I'm not going to do a bunch of name dropping here, but you've heard of them. Some major artists, teachers in schools, players at all levels, people that are just getting into violin, people that are professors, that are classical violin professors that want to get into amplified strings, and everybody in between. So we'll have people come in and visit, and they're like, "Oh, I don't want to play. You know, I'm not that good." No. We're not judgy. Come in and play. Going to give you guys a little tour of the area. This is the outside of the shop. And let me mute this mic because it was a little loud out there. So we're walking in. This is when you walk into the shop. What you see is all these glorious violins. This is what the big wall O violins looks like. Bunch of different stuff hanging on the wall. Look, I got my gimbal, so we're flowing smooth through all this, right? It's nice. Even a double neck violin, you see that there. So lots of good stuff. And if you come visit us, we'll probably make you play them all. Just, you know, why not? Doesn't cost nothing. So this is the wall of cellos. This is Shauna's favorite wall. We got some NS cellos here coming across to the Zeta. Got a couple of bridge cellos here, an Aurora cello, a Glasser, and then some acoustic electric violins. There don't have any Yamahas hanging up because they're all flying out the door right now. We do have a wall of acoustic electric violins. We said that we do have acoustic electrics. Every one of those can be plugged in, including these Glassers here. They got their own little display area because Andrew sent us one. We carry Coda bows, we carry Glasser bows, and then we carry our own shop brand, the EVS Bolt carbon fiber bows, mostly carbon fiber stuff. This is another little hanger in our amp room. We've got a couple of cellos and violins in there now, but you see those Acus amps. We got some Yamaha amps, Bose amps, Boss amps. We also carry some Fishman amps. Lots of good stuff. So, and I think you may have seen during the cello portion of that video that we've got a whole wall of effects pedals and stuff over there. We've got our back room has got wirelesses and cables and rosin and everything that you need to do what you do with your electric violin. We got that here. How you like that? Want to tell you about our staff a little bit. Some of the most knowledgeable people on the planet. Chris Guin has been around electric violins since they invented electricity. That's how long Chris has been around electric violins, and that's only a slight exaggeration. He might, in all seriousness, he might be one of the most knowledgeable people about electric violins that is walking the earth right now. If there's a weird oddball violin out there, there's a decent chance that he has seen one, played one, put his hands on one. He's been around this thing for so long. He knows what's up. Everybody who is on the staff are musicians. In fact, everybody is a string player except Jamie, who's our luthier, and he is a fantastic guitar player. So there's tons of experience in the shop. Most of us either do or have played professionally. So it's just when you call in here, you're talking to somebody who actually plays the violin or plays the cello, someone who has played one in public. a person who is plugged in and has had to deal with all the stuff that you're dealing with on stage. We've all been there. So, you know, we understand what's going on. We are musicians just like you guys. I mean, look at me. Nobody else is going to hire me. So I did take a second to get some videos from all of my coworkers, and we're going to sort of go through and let each person tell you who they are and what they do. One of the reasons they hired me is because Susie does not like being on camera. So her video is the shortest, but it's cool. She did it. So here is everybody on our staff in their own words. How you like that?
I'm the manager here at Electric Violin Shop, and I handle much of the inventory and personnel as well as some customer service and shipping. And I play an electric violin, 4 and 5 string, as well as electric bass.
Hey everybody, my name is Chris Kewen, and I'm the least photogenic member of the Electric Violin Shop staff. Been here for 15 years now, and I do a little bit of everything from the digital photography to customer service, packing. You know, if you've been a customer for very long, you've probably spoken to me at least once on the phone. I play a 5-string Yamaha YEV and a 7-string Jordan.
Hi, I'm Jamie Sneeringer, the luthier at the Electric Violin Shop. I inspect the instruments and address any issues there might be with curvature or measurements on the bridge. I check the electronics. I also do repairs, so if you have an existing instrument or one you've gotten from us, I can help you along with that. I work with the public, so feel free to call and ask for me anytime.
Hey everybody, Shauna Tucker here. I am the resident cellist. I am the loop specialist at EVS. Out in the world, I call my music chamber soul, and I'm a singer-songwriter as well. I'm a teaching artist, and this is my acoustic cello Thomas, but I have electrified him with a pickup. And when I'm like right now, I'm not in the shop, but I have some portable things with me so I can continue doing work. I do like to play loop stations, and I like to use effects. This is a really good one, and this comes with me wherever I go because it makes cello sound like cello, whether or not it's my acoustic cello Thomas or my electric cello, which is a CR5 from NS Designs. I'm also an NS artist. But enough about me. Let's talk about somebody else.
Hi, my name is Duncan Monzarud. I do e-commerce and online marketing for Electric Violin Shop. I just wanted to hop on here and give you a little wave. I used to work in the shop every day, but many moons ago I moved to Texas. Fortunately, I'm still able to run the website, do online marketing, and some customer service from my home office here. So one of the coolest things about working for Electric Violin Shop is that we are a musician-run company. That's something we don't just say, we take pride in. It's actually in our bylaws. You have to work a majority of your hours in a room filled with instruments and amps. So let me take you on a quick tour of what I've got here. I showed you my wave violin earlier. This is my Cantini earphonic. It's a 5-string Tobacco Occhietto. We love the Boss Katana amps. I own one. It's great. We really love the acoustic image amps. This is a Chorus Series 2. This is my Stradivarius. This guy here is, I haven't decided yet if it's a really unusual instrument. It might be a large-scale violin tuned down a fifth, or it might be a really small-scale cello transposed up an octave. I can't figure out what it's called. This is my 6-string fretted violin. It's actually a cello scale instrument, and it's tuned in fourths. There's a third in there too. It's kind of weird. And this is my plucked, horizontally oriented upright bass. Anyway, if you see us online, if you visit our site, that's all my domain, with a lot of help from folks like Matt and Chris, who pitch in on content and photography and video. But as a team, we put out a pretty good online presence for a small company, and I'm proud of it. And I thank my coworkers for all the help with that. Back to you, Matt.
How about that? So that's everybody on the team. Hope you guys enjoyed that. Duncan's bringing jokes. Wow. So yeah, there is a hurricane headed for his area, but I used to live in that part of the world, and I can tell you that he's he's actually a little bit west of where it's going to get pretty bad. So it's probably not going to be like the most beautiful day in his particular neighborhood, but hopefully he's going to be safe. I do want to send out a shout out. I used to live in Beaumont, Texas, and spent a lot of time right there on the coast in that Texas, Louisiana area. A lot of love to all the friends of mine that are down there that are about to get their heads taken off. So you guys, everybody out there, keep them in your thoughts and prayers. And we're going to probably have to support them after this thing is over. It's probably going to be ugly. So if you've been doing okay during the Rona and you got a couple extra bucks laying around, rather than blowing those on, I don't know even what people blow money on during Corona. But if you got a couple extra bucks, might be not a bad idea to send those to somebody in that area after this thing is over. Or you could buy an electric violin. Always a good thing. So we do a lot of shopping assistance. Like I said before, it's our typical customer. When I started here, I sort of assumed that I was the typical customer, a person who plays full-time and has a lot of experience with electric instruments and plugging in and amplifying. And I'm also a sound engineer. I guess you just always assume that your experience is the average experience. That's not the case. It turns out our average customer is actually a person who is a fairly experienced acoustic player, but is exploring amplification for the first time. So most of the people that we talk to are pretty good players, but they just don't know that much about electrics. It's not. It's just they haven't been educated in that area. I don't know a lot about surgical equipment because I've never had to learn. So people will call us and will say, hey, I think I wanted to get an electric, but I don't know anything about them. Well, it allows us to really develop a relationship with that person and ask them, what is it exactly that you want to do with the electric violin? Because with an acoustic violin, each one of them is a little different, but the range of variation is pretty small. Most acoustics only have 4 strings, and they pretty much make the same amount of noise. And there's different flavors and stuff in there, but it's pretty narrow. It's like, there's a lot of, it's like acoustic instruments would be chocolate ice cream. Well, not all chocolate ice cream is created equal, but it's all chocolate ice cream. There's no pizza in there. That's a food analogy. That's different. I usually do car analogies. Crazy. So we'll spend a little time with you and figure out how many strings do you want? What's your budget? What kind of tone do you want? Do you want the instrument to be do you want it to be fairly loud under your chin or fairly quiet under your chin? Or what exactly are you looking for? And we can help you find the instrument that is going to fit your situation the best, because every person's needs are different, every instrument is different, and we spend so much time with all these instruments that we sort of know what's good and bad about each one of them. And we'll tell you straight up. Obviously we're selling stuff here, but we're an online business, and where we really, really make our mark on the world is with authenticity and truthfulness, because we want to sell you an instrument. Sure, that's how we keep the doors open, but we want you to be happy with that instrument, and we want you to come back to us for your next instrument, and we want you to tell your friends, hey, these guys are trustworthy, and they told me the truth. They said these are the pluses and the minuses of this instrument, and they were right. So yeah, we're gonna give you a warts and all assessment of each instrument, because I don't want to tell you, hey, this thing's fantastic, and you get it in and you go, that's not at all what he said it was, because that doesn't help you and it doesn't help us, and that don't make no sense. So one of we provide some services. A lot of the instruments that we get in, all of the instruments that we get in, come from a manufacturer, and we carry from over 20 different manufacturers. And each one comes in a little different. One of the manufacturers that we work with, who hand makes all of his instruments in overseas, he ships them to us basically in pieces. And Jamie has to assemble all these instruments and carve the bridges, and there's a fair amount of setup on some of these. Some of them come in and I can pull them out of the box from the manufacturer, and they're pretty much in tune. You can plug them in and play them. We still go through those. There are some, like the Yamaha YEV, that they come in and the bridges are stamped rather than cut, and they stamp them a little too tall. They come in a box and the bridges are laying flat. So Jamie has to hand shape each one of those bridges. And then we have a professional player play each one to make sure that, yep, this one feels good. And it sounds good. You want to make sure every now and then we'll get one even from the manufacturers with the very best quality control. Occasionally you'll get one, who knows, maybe UPS drop tested it on the way here, or they tested it before it went out the door, and who knows what happened. But every now and then we'll find an issue, and that just allows us to be one more layer of quality control between the manufacturer and you, the player. Nick Schaefer, my man. Yes, we do, in fact, play Freebird all the way through the uncut version on each instrument. And then, of course, we also provide customer support after the sale. If you have an issue with the instrument, sometimes there will be a certain, maybe there's an issue with an instrument that we won't say it's common, but we've certainly heard of this issue before. And you call us up, oh my goodness, such and such a thing happened, and I don't know what to do. Well, we've probably heard of that before, and we can talk you through it. Also, if you get the instrument in, you go, okay, I like this about it, but I really wish it could do this too. And then maybe we could say, well, if you buy this pedal or this amplifier, that can get you there. Jonathan, Vi Wickham's honest and real-time reaction. Absolutely, that's exactly why we did that. Vi's a good friend of mine, and I know that you guys believe me when I tell you things because you keep watching me and you buy violins here. But it really is different if a person who doesn't work here. And I don't work on commission, so I don't particularly care which instrument you buy. I want you to buy the one that makes you the happiest. But yeah, when Vi doesn't have any vested interest in what you do with these instruments, when he comes in and he tells you what he thinks about each one with no coaching from me, it's sort of, it adds some more authenticity and hopefully, like you said, it more or less says what I was saying. So yeah, the other thing about working with us is that we are experienced touring players. We can help you with your rig. We've got thousands of customer experiences. When even in my 24 years of touring with a Viper, there's occasionally an issue that I have not encountered. But we get all the phone calls from people who do have these experiences, so we end up walking through those situations with them. And so you basically, when you call us, you've got the benefit of not only all of our individual experiences, but the experiences of the people that we talk to on the phone or email with every day. We've really become a clearinghouse for information about electric instruments, and even stuff that we would not have known unless somebody told us. Well, somebody told us because that's what you do. And again, if there's a thing that we can't help with, you call in and you go, hey, here's a thing, and I'm like, gosh, I've never even heard of that. We are so connected with inside the industry with the manufacturers, with the players, with the product development people. There's a decent chance that I'll say, gosh, I really don't know, but here is who I would ask if I wanted to know, and I could connect you with that person. So that's the advantage of working with a company like us. We do work with the manufacturers. I was actually, before the plague hit, I was on a quest to visit each of the manufacturers for these instruments, and I got through a whole bunch of them, and hopefully we'll finish that up after plague goes away very soon, I hope. But it's nice to be able to stand in Sao Paulo, Brazil, where Auroras are made, and stand in New York City where Vipers are made, and go to Béget, France, where 3D Various instruments are made, and go to Italy, and to go stand in the shop where these guys are making these instruments and really get a feel for exactly how these are put together, and spend time with the person, with the luthier who invented and designed these instruments, so really get inside their head, and that way we can sort of provide even more information for you. We can connect you a little bit more to the makers of these instruments. I got to hang out with John Jordan in his shop in California, and when you're looking at a Jordan violin, I can tell you stories about being in his shop with him and the kind of woods that he uses, and this is what John's like as a person, and it just helps you feel a more intimate connection with your instrument. So Yeah, Craig, hit me up about that after this. Just shoot us an email, and we'll chat with you about that. So yeah, it helps us work and provide feedback for all these manufacturers when we talk to Cantini. He used to have there was a previous model called the Son Plus, and we sent him a lot of feedback about this. We said, here's a couple things, you're doing well. Here's a couple things we really wish that you would improve. And all of a sudden, here comes the Earphonic. Not just feedback from us. Obviously, he listens to other people as well. But when he developed the Earphonic violin, it had 98% of the feedback that we'd given him, saying, "Hey, I wish you'd change this. I wish you'd change this. I wish you'd change this." The Earphonic answered all those questions. Somebody's asking about the Glasser violin here. That's another situation. I get to talk to Andrew Glasser on a pretty regular basis. When we've got feedback on one of the instruments, hey, here's the thing that it's doing that I wish we would fix. Because we're one of their bigger customers, they listen to us when we give that feedback. And it's not just Matt Bell's feedback. It's not just my opinion. It's listening to you guys when you call back in or you email us or Facebook message us. We can provide all that feedback to the manufacturers in a form that's going to help them make their changes. So a rising tide lifts all boats. If one manufacturer is making a better violin, then the marketplace is going to go, oh, we need to react. And we're constantly pushing the manufacturers to chase continuous improvement, meaning that the violins and the market are always getting better, which means that your instrument that you use to make your art is always going to be getting better. We maintain relationships with the top recording and touring artists, keep our finger on the pulse not only with the makers but also with the users. We're talking to some of the most innovative people in the world that are doing really cool cutting edge stuff with violins, violas, cellos, basses, and we'll get a call from them. I'll get a call from somebody saying, hey, I want to do such and such that I don't think has ever been done before, and here are some technical issues I'm running into. Can you help me? Well, that allows us to know, okay, there are people trying these things, and we can clue the manufacturers in and say, hey, there's a new thing that people are trying to do, and there's an aspect of your instrument that's maybe standing in the way. And they go, gosh, we never even thought of that. Well, nobody did. But keeping in touch with the manufacturers and the artists allows us to help elevate the entire business. So we're always seeking out new tech, new makers, new gear. I go to a lot of these trade shows, or I used to, hopefully will again soon. And we just like to stay connected with people and listen when they're talking. During this time, during COVID-19, we are open by appointment only. We have all been trying to do a really good job of isolating on our own so that we're not infecting each other with stuff. At the very beginning of COVID, when they shut everything down here in North Carolina, a lot of people were like, hey, the kids are out of school, let's go shop at EVS. And we actually had one day where there were a lot of people in here, and this is not a big room. So we're like, we kind of got to put an end to that. Unfortunately, we're going to have to, for your safety, for our safety, for everybody's safety, we do appointment only, and that's to keep only one person besides us in the shop at any given time. And we make sure everything's clean and wiped down so the next people who come in are not getting infected, because we can't have that. But we are open by appointment only right now. We're here in the shop Monday through Friday from 10 to 6. You can email us, you can call us, you can hit us on social media. Those are the ways to get in touch with us. Our email is info@electricviolinshop.com. That actually comes into all of us. It's an account that we all look at all the time. Duncan's on there, Susie, me, Chris, Jamie's in there. So we're all in that account all the time. So if you shoot a note into EVS to info@electricviolinshop.com, we just sort of, sometimes there'll be one that maybe is right down my area of expertise, and they'll hold that for me. Sometimes one to Chris or Susie or whoever. Most of the questions any of us can answer, but occasionally there's one that's a little more in my wheelhouse or somebody else's wheelhouse, so we'll sort of push that to them. You can call us on the phone. The phone number's here on the screen, and English and Spanish. Yo hablo español también, and so does Susie. So we do have English and Spanish here. When we do a lot of international business, it's best to do by email because we can use the Google and Google Translate. We actually do quite a bit of business in Romania, believe it or not. Electric violins are super popular in Romania. Fortunately, Romanian is fairly similar to Spanish as a language, so we can, between Google and what I know from Spanish, we can get through those conversations. But you can also hit us on social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, all those. Electric Violin Shop is going to be what you're looking for. We've kept all those the same. So that's how you would reach us if you needed to reach us. Our website, electricviolinshop.com. That's the money site right there. A lot of people hit us on Twitter or Instagram and, hey, I want to buy a violin. Well, here's our website. And I know like these young kids, they don't do websites. The kids don't do websites. They only do social media. They want to TikTok me or something. I'm not on TikTok. I'm way too old. That would be really creepy. But yeah, the kids want to hit you on social media. Really, where it's at is our website, electricviolinshop.com. You can buy your instrument there. It's the quickest and easiest way to buy your instrument is right on our website. We do free shipping in the lower 48 states. Outside of the lower 48, we're in the United States. We're in North Carolina, in case anybody didn't know that. Durham, North Carolina. Anywhere in the lower 48, it's free shipping for items over $100. If you want a shipping quote, and we get this a lot, hey, do you ship to Dubai? Yes, we do. The way to get a shipping quote is to go to our website, put the item in your shopping cart, and go to checkout. When you do that, you can put in your address, and it will give you a shipping quote.
I figure in the interest of total
yes.
inclusion.
So we didn't bring Paul, and I didn't have Paul shoot a video for me because I didn't know he was going to be here. Come on, man. I ain't got the Rona. You can stand next to me. This is Paul Miller.
Hey, everybody.
Say hi.
Hey, I'm Paul.
Just started working here like last week or something, right?
Yeah, Monday. This week was my first day. It's been great so far. Been great getting to know everybody. Looking forward to working here for hopefully a while.
Yeah, we're going to teach him the ropes. He's an electric violinist already.
Mm-hmm.
What do you play now?
I play on a NS Design Wave 5. If anybody has any questions about that, happy to answer those.
And what's your dream violin?
Definitely the Viper.
Oh yeah,
Gotta go
good
for
man.
the Viper.
Good man. And what kind of music do you play?
I play a lot of rock, a lot of country, southern rock, that kind of stuff. Started off classical, so that's where my background is. And then ever since I started playing with my band Instead back home, that's kind of our wheelhouse.
That's a cool shout out though, right?
Yeah.
Can you plug your band real quick?
Yeah, so if anybody's interested, my band is called Instead. You can look us up on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. Our Instagram is Instead_official or just Instead on Facebook and YouTube.
Sweet.
How do you spell Instead so they won't spell it wrong?
Right. Ensteda. Funny story behind that. We all played together in a school band called the Ramblers back in high school. And once we all graduated, we couldn't be in the Ramblers anymore, but we wanted to keep making music, make our own original music. And so we couldn't really come up with a name, but we just came up with Instead of Ramblers. So that's where that came from.
Booyah.
Yep. So we also have a single out on Spotify, Apple Music. It's called Quicksand. Feel free to check that out.
Awesome.
Yeah.
And he's keeping the height thing rolling, right? So like
That's right.
so you got to be at least 5'10" to where you must be at least this tall to work here.
Actually, you're supposed to be above 5'10" because for years, even though I'm 5'10", which is taller than average in America but not tall, I was the shortest guy who worked here for years. Like everybody got hired was like 6'2", 6'4", 6'3". So when Paul came for his interview, I was like, okay, well, you got the height requirement down.
That's right. And Shauna, we made an exception for Shauna because if you didn't actually see her in person, you'd assume that she's 7'2".
Exactly.
Her personality is
You
at
should
least that
dump
tall.
on me.
Yeah, Shauna's personality is at least that tall. Thanks, Paul, man. Welcome to the
Thank you.
team.
And thanks for doing so well when I put you on the spot.
We might put that boy on camera yet. You have to quit cutting your hair though. So that's what's going on. Shipping quotes. You can get your shipping quote if you come in on the website and you live in Madagascar or someplace, because we do ship there. Also, an amazing resource, and I say amazing because I make the videos, and if I don't say amazing, nobody else will. But yeah, it's a great resource. Our YouTube channel. It actually started out when I first started here. I felt like I was answering all the same questions all the time on email. Like somebody would ask about gain staging or something. I was like, oh my god, I feel like I answered this question 3 times a day already. Why don't I just make a video? And then when people have some of these frequently asked questions, boom, we just send them a video. And plus, it's a lot easier to explain things on video than it is on email. So we started putting all these videos on our YouTube channel, and it turns out that some of them probably haven't had a lot of views, but some of them have had a whole lot. And then we're doing product reviews on there. So most of our customers are buying these instruments essentially sight unseen. That's how the internet works. So we will play the violins, and you can compare them. We've got videos in each price category, say under $1,000. Well, these are the 4 violins that are under $1,000, and we'll play them, and you can see them and hear them, and that way it helps you to make an informed decision on which instrument to get. So product reviews, tutorials, we've got a lot of stuff on there about music theory and things that maybe they didn't teach in classical music school, if that's where you went. We've got a lot of artist performances on there, like DBR came in here, Earl Manian, Vi Wickham's been in here. We've just had a lot of really cool artists come in the shop, and we usually film them and put their performance up on our YouTube channel. So I think you'll find that a really good resource. Also, let's see what other screens I got here. Oh, yes. The Rockstar Violinist podcast. This is something that I started doing after listening to No Guitar is Safe, which is a podcast I really like. And it's a couple guitar players that sit down and shoot the breeze and play guitars and talk about life and music and art. And I went, man, somebody should do that for violins. I guess I'll be that somebody. So episode 1 was Mark Wood, because who else would you interview for episode 1 of a Rockstar Violinist podcast? About your first violin. Oh, thanks, Jonathan. That's awesome. We've talked to Mark Wood. We've talked to EDM violinists, jazz violinists, heavy metal violinists, rock violinists. I've got a theatrical violinist, a couple theatrical violinists. We talked to Val Vagoda. I've got another one of those coming. We've got a gospel violinist coming up. Lots of just anybody who's doing something outside of the ordinary of what they would tell you in school orchestra. Like here's what your life is going to be like if you play violin. Anybody that says, yeah, not me. We're talking to them. We'll even interview some classical violinists that are knocking down barriers and doing some things that are outside of the norm in their field. So that's who we're talking to, our Rockstar violinists, violists, cellists. I think we're up to episode 52 or 53 now. We're releasing 1 a month right now. Our latest one was Ariella Zeitman, who is an American who's living in Israel and playing rock, theatrical, EDM kind of stuff, doing really, really cool stuff. I just want to introduce you to some of the cool players out there doing really neat and innovative things with bowed strings. So that's the Rockstar Violinist podcast. All right, so that is Meet EVS, all rolled into about 30 minutes. Hope you guys have had a good time with this. We've seen a couple questions here. We will answer those in the comments section and hit you guys back. Thank you so much for being part of our family and for buying your instruments here, for trusting us with the purchase of the things that you use to make your art. And we look forward to helping you out in the future any way we can. So next week, I actually have a gig. Believe it or not, what a gig? Are you serious? Yes, I have a gig next Wednesday, but do not fret. I'm putting together a little something special for you guys. every now and then we'll hear people complain, there's no good music coming out. The only good music came out in the 70s and 80s. That is a big, fat lie. It's not true. There's awesome, amazing, fantastic, innovative, groundbreaking, creative music being created in 2020. A lot of it. So I'm trying this week to put together a little highlight reel of some cool stuff that string players are doing in 2020, and we will shoot that out to you guys while I'm off doing the gig thing. So yeah, that's what's going on here in sunny Durham, North Carolina. If you guys are down on the Gulf Coast, our thoughts and prayers are with you guys. Stay safe, and we will see you guys next week. Okay? Boom.